What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the lab with another quest build. I have an extremely rare spooky blueprint for y'all looking to run on an absolute demigod big man that's going to be a mismatch nightmare for your opponents on the wood. This thing is going to be a freak athletically that can be a 3-level bucket getter with nice handles and can finish with the best of them. This thing has shades of Danny Granger, Stacy Augmon, Anthony Davis, and Kevin Garnett. This is the first ever 6'10", two-way 3-level shot creator. Perfectly designed for the modern era. This thing is going to be too big for smaller peanuts and celery sticks when you do get matched up against guard and wing type players, and it's going to be too fast for those traditional defensive paint monsters. This thing is going to be a key cog on any squad that can be the number 1 or number 2 option to get buckets, to create buckets for your squad, and just impact the game in a bunch of different ways. So let's jump right in. You're going to make this at power forward, but you can also make this at center. I think if you make it at small forward or below, it might change the name. But we're going to be 6'10", 215 pounds, which is minimum weight at center. And you know we're going body shape build because we want to look menacing on the wood and on the crete, and with such a small frame you do want to be a little bit more physically imposing. So follow along to a T to get this name, and then tinker at your own discretion in your builder. You can kind of make this a couple of different ways, but I'm going to go over some of the name threshes to get the two-way 3-level shot creator at 6'10", which I have not seen thus far in 2K23. So starting out, we're going to get our close shot to a 76. We're going to get our driving layup all the way to an 89. That's going to give us that gold slithery finisher, which is going to be huge on this build. Then we're going to get our driving dunk to a 90. You are going to be taking flight and dunking on everybody. Then we're going to get our standing dunk to an 80 to get those big man contact dunks as well, while we're also having a post game to an 82. That's going to be a badge thresh and give us 26 finishing badges. So when you are attacking the rim on this build, a la Kevin Garnett, a la Stacy Augmon, you are going to be putting bodies in bags, dunking with the best of them at 6'10". With a post game, you're going to be able to that Hall of Fame postman technician, spin off them, and then go destroy that center helping weak side. And we're going to want that driving layup and driving dunk in the high 80s to trigger the 3-level name. But then shooting, we're going to get our mid-range to an 80. And our 3-ball to an 81. That's going to give us that gold catch and shoot. You can up your midi to an 83 if you want to ink out another shooting badge. We're going to keep that at an 80 right now. And we're going to get our free throw to an even 70, because you want to be able to go to the line and knock down free throws when your opponents get frustrated and they start fouling you, because that's what's going to happen on this build. That's going to give us 21 shooting badges, that gold midi magish, Hall of Fame volume shooter, like I said, gold catch and shoot. You're a 3-level scorer, off rip, on God swear, left side curtains. So, and when you're matched up against big men, they're going to have to respect that jumper, which is going to create more spacing for your squad, and it's going to give you more room to operate in the ISO game anyways. But then playmaking, we're going to get our pass accuracy to a 76. If you did want to ink out another badge, you can up that to a 79. I believe if you do go over a 79, it might switch it to a 2-way 3-level playmaker, which I already made a video on that, which is also a very hot name, super rare at 6'10". That is in this tree, but we're going to get our pass accuracy here to a 76. That's a badge thresh. We want that gold break starter as well. And then we're going to max out our ball handle, max out our speed with ball to an 81 and 71 respectively, because you know that's the thresh to get these creator playmaker names at 6'10". That's going to give us 17 playmaking badges. Not only do you have that gold break starter, but when you do get the ball off the rebound or on the defensive side, you can just take the pill yourself, go in transition, create an opportunity for your squad, and at 6'10", you're going to be gallivanting up the floor, and no one's going to want to get in front of you again with that 90 driving dunk. But then defensively, this is why this thing shines at the 4 or 5, because we're going to get our interior defense all the way to a 90. It's going to be a badge thresh and going to be plenty fine when you do get matched up against like a paint beast or someone trying to take advantage of your celery stick type frame. But they don't know that you have this interior skillful defense to counter them trying to just drop step and trying to dominate you inside. So they're in for a rude awakening in that regard. Then we're going to get our perimeter defense to a 74. That's going to give us the opportunity to switch out on perimeter players. If you are at the 3 on this build and you're guarding a 3-level scorer or a play shot, you can hang with them on the perimeter. That's that KG Anthony Davis type versatility on defense. We're going to keep our stealies at a 42, but we're going to get our block to a 78. That's going to be a badge thrust, giving us gold chase down. And then we're going to get our defense rebound to a 72. So it's not a juggernaut on the glass, which you can actually allocate elsewhere if you wanted to make this build more of an imposing rebounder. But you're going to be able to grab rebounds, position yourself accordingly, and it's not a defensive juggernaut. If you put this at the 4 with a defensive anchor at the 5, this thing is an offensive-minded type player. And if you're good behind the sticks, you're going to be able to be just fine on defense and impact the game. I don't really see a huge difference if you actually know what you're doing behind the sticks. That's going to give us 18 defensive badges. Again, very high interior defense. You're going to have plenty of ability to block shots. You can rebound at a healthy rate, and then play good perimeter defense, so you're not going to be a liability at all defensively. Just seeing two-way in the name is going to have a psychological fear factor that they think that they can't just do certain things. You're not a squish on defense by just having that in the name. But we're going to max out our acceleration and get our speed to a 70, keep our strength to a 65, get our vertical to a 75 for those contact dunks, and then put the rest on stamina to an 84. So giving this build a once over 26 finishing, 21 shooting, 17 playmaking, and 18 defensive badges. This thing is an absolute freak and can be a key contributor and weapon on the offensive end. I really don't know how you're going to match up against this build at 6'10", especially if you make this at center or if you're paired with a defensive beast behind you, because this thing can absolutely take over a game. You can also add a couple more badges offensively with shooting, with playmaking, or if you wanted to go a little bit more ham on the interior and up the standing dunk to a 90, do some different things to make this even more imposing on the block. Depending on your play style, you can make this an offensive mastermind, but then also defensively it is sufficient. It's not going to be a liability. You can also allocate and make this even more well-rounded defensively as well. But some of the name threshes to make sure you get this build at 6'10" is going to be that high driving layup and dunk, your midi and 3-ball and an 80 plus. Your playmaking under an 80, I believe. You can try to tinker. You need that ball handle and speed with ball 81-71. And to get the two-way name on a power forward or center position, you're going to need that interior defense to at least in the high 80s, coupled with a high block, usually in the mid to high 70s to get that gold chase down. And pretty much you're going to end up with this name two-way 3-level shot creator if you follow those schematics. Again, tinker at your own discretion to make your own playstyle. But going on to takeover, you get finishing, shooting, interior D, and post take. I always like to go advanced post moves and like finishing moves or advanced gathers, because I really think this thing can be an absolute monster inside the arc, but can have the weaponry to step out on the perimeter, and you have to respect the jumper and ability to score at all 3 levels. And there's the name, two-way 3-level shot creator. At 6'10", you're rarely going to see a build like this at the 4.5. I've only seen this name at like 6'3", 6'7". So this thing matching up against opposing bigs can be an absolute movie to watch. Get your popcorn ready, bring this out to the theater. I don't know what you would do if you're matched up against this build, because you know it can create shots at all 3 levels. It's a two-way. This thing's an all-purpose demigod, and I think in the right hands, it could be the #1 option on any squad. What do you guys think? Is it worth investing that hard-earned VC into? Would you dig deep into the couch cushions to find a little bit more pocket change to invest in this build? What would you guys change? What kind of variation do you like with this blueprint? Let me know in the comments, because you know Quest Sparrow bringing that heat in 2K23.